The silence of space was not silent to Captain James. He sat in his chair on the bridge of the horizon, listening to the low hum of the ship's engines. It was a steady sound, like a heartbeat. In front of him, the large screen showed the darkness of space, but it was not empty. It showed the line. On the galactic charts, this line was red. It was a warning. It marked the end of the known galaxy. Beyond this line, the maps were black. The aliens called it the void of death. Approaching the boundary, Captain, said Lieutenant David. He was a young officer, sitting at the communication station. His fingers moved quickly over his keyboard. He looked nervous. "We are 3 minutes away." James nodded. He did not look nervous. He leaned back in his chair. "Steady, David. Keep the sensors on maximum. I want to see everything before we cross." Next to David stood Xeno-archivist Vex. Vex was not human. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and large, dark eyes that looked like pools of oil. He was a representative of the Galactic Council. He was here to watch the humans. The Council did not trust humans. They thought humans were too wild, too curious, and too dangerous. Vex wore a silver suit that covered his whole body. He gripped the railing near the screen with long, shaking fingers. "You must stop here," Vex said. His voice sounded like metal scratching against glass. "The chart is clear. The void is beyond this point. It is forbidden." James turned his head slowly to look at the alien. "The chart says the data ends here, Vex. It does not say the space ends. It just says you stopped looking. We stopped looking because there is nothing but death." Vex hissed. "Ancient instability. Gravitational waves that tear ships apart. My people have respected this boundary for 1,000 years. You cannot just fly past it." "Watch me," James said. He turned back to the screen. "Helmsman, take us across the line. Half speed." The Horizon was a beautiful ship. It was not the biggest ship in the galaxy, but it was strong. It was built by human hands. Humans were new to space. They had only left their solar system a few decades ago. But they learned fast. While other races spent thousands of years developing slowly, humans rushed forward. They built ships, they explored, and they asked questions that the old races did not want to answer. On the screen, the red line drew closer. It was just a digital line on the map, but it felt heavy. The bridge crew was quiet. Everyone was watching. Some of the younger crew members held their breath. They had heard the stories. The aliens told ghost stories about this part of space. They spoke of ships that vanished and stars that screamed. "We are crossing the boundary," David announced. "Now." The ship moved forward. For a moment, nothing happened. The red line on the screen disappeared behind them. The map turned from the blue of explored space to the black of the unknown. "Shields holding?" James asked. "Shields are at 100%, said the officer at the shield console. "No radiation spikes. No gravitational waves. Space is normal." Vex let out a sound of shock. He pushed away from the railing. "Impossible," he whispered. "The sensors must be wrong. The void should be tearing us apart." "Maybe the void is just a story to keep children in bed," James said calmly. "David, what do the sensors see? Is there anything out there?" David typed on his keyboard. His eyes widened. He looked at the data streams coming in. "Captain, I am reading structures. Large masses. They are not rocks. They are artificial. Vex gasped. He ran to David's console, leaning over the young officer's shoulder. Vex's eyes widened in fear. No, he moaned. The Shadow Eaters. It is true. They are waiting. Sit back, Vex, James said firmly. Vex ignored him. He pointed a shaking finger at the screen. You have doomed us. The Shadow Eaters are the ancient enemy. They are the reason for the quarantine. We have woken them. James stood up. He walked to the front of the bridge. He looked at the main screen where the darkness was starting to lighten. Mr. David, put the visual on the main screen. Maximum zoom. The screen flickered. Then, the darkness cleared. The crew saw it. It was not a monster. It was not a cloud of death. Floating in the dark, silent space, was a station. It was huge. It was bigger than any space station the humans had ever seen. It was made of a metal that looked dark and absorbent, like a shadow. It was shaped like a giant ring, spinning slowly in the void. Lights flickered along its surface, dim and red. It looked ancient. It looked powerful. The bridge was silent for a long time. The humans stared in wonder. Vex stared in terror. It is a station, James said. His voice was quiet. It's not a natural phenomenon. It's a construct. It is a tomb, Vex cried out. We must turn around. We must flee before they see us. James looked at the alien. Vex, go to your quarters. You are panicking the crew. Panicking, I am saving you. Vex shouted. Do you understand what that is? That is the way station of the eclipse. It appears in the oldest myths. It is the home of the ones who eat suns. You are flying a tiny bug into the mouth of a dragon. Security, James said calmly. Two large crew members stepped forward. They did not draw weapons, but they stood near Vex. Please escort the archivist to his room, James said. Keep him there until I say otherwise. Vex struggled, but he was not a fighter. He looked at the screen one last time, his face pale with fear. You are all dead, he whispered. The chart ends in shadow for a reason. The guards took Vex away. The bridge felt quieter without his shouting. James turned back to the screen. The station hung in the void, mysterious and cold. He felt a strange feeling in his chest. It was not fear. It was excitement. For thousands of years, the galaxy had stopped at this line. The advanced races, the wise races, the old races, they all stopped. They believed the stories. They believed the charts. But humans were different. Humans were explorers. When someone told a human there was a wall, they wanted to see what was on the other side. When someone told them there was a monster, they wanted to shake its hand. Or fight it. Mr. David, James said, sitting back down. Scan that station. I want to know everything. Energy readings, life signs, structural integrity. And open a channel. Let us see if anyone is home to pick up the phone. David smiled. It was a small smile, but it was there. The fear was leaving the bridge. The curiosity was taking over. Yes, Captain. Scanning now. The horizon drifted closer to the giant dark ring. The human ship looked like a speck of dust next to the ancient structure. But the speck of dust was moving. It was exploring. It was doing what the greatest races in the galaxy were afraid to do. Captain, David said after a few minutes. I am detecting a power signature. It is faint. The station is running on standby mode. But, Captain, the technology looks familiar. It looks like a mix of older precursor tech, but the logic gates, they look similar to our own code. Familiar, James asked. How can it be familiar? We have never been here. I don't know, David said. But the encryption, it's not locking us out. It feels like it is waiting for a password. James looked at the screen. He felt a strong sense of destiny. The galaxy thought humans were just a young race, reckless and small. They thought humans were children playing with fire. But James knew the truth. Humans were not reckless. They were brave. And the galaxy was bigger than the Council wanted them to know. David, James said. Ready a shuttle. I am going over there. Captain David turned around. Is that safe? Shouldn't we send a drone first? Drones can't make decisions, James said. I want to see this place myself. I want to touch it. The chart ends in shadow, David. But I think we are about to turn on the lights. James stood up and fixed his uniform. He looked around the bridge at his crew. They were looking back at him with trust. They were not afraid of the shadow. They were ready to go into it. Continue scanning, James ordered. Don't let Vex sphere spread. We are the horizon. And our job is to see what is over the next hill. The ship moved silently through the void. The ancient station grew larger in the view screen. The shadow of the station stretched out towards the human ship, but it did not look like a threat anymore. It looked like a welcome. The galaxy had hidden this place, but the humans had found it. The void was not empty. It was full of history. And James was going to read every word of it. The shuttle ride from the horizon to the ancient station was short, but it felt like a journey into a different world. The small craft, carrying Commander Ryan and Dr. Emily, flew silently across the gap between the human ship and the massive dark ring. Through the windows, the station looked like a mountain range floating in the dark. It was made of a black metal that seemed to drink the light. It was scary, but it was also beautiful. Commander Ryan sat in the pilot's seat. He was a man of action. He had been a soldier for many years, fighting in small conflicts on Earth and in the colonies. He was not a scientist, but he was brave. He checked his weapon, a standard human pulse rifle, even though Captain James told him he probably would not need it. Old habits were hard to break. Dr. Emily sat next to him. She was the opposite of Ryan. She was small, with glasses that sat on her nose, and her mind was always racing. She held a tablet computer in her hands, her eyes scanning the data streaming from the station's exterior. She was not thinking about fighting, she was thinking about math. She was thinking about who built this and why. The energy readings are strange, Emily said, her voice calm despite the situation. The station is not dead. It is sleeping. It is breathing, Ryan. Can you feel it? I feel the vibration of the shuttle, Doc, Ryan said, gripping the controls. That is all I feel. Prepare for docking. I am taking us into that airlock on the side. The airlock was huge. It was big enough for 10 shuttles to fly in at once. Ryan guided the small human shuttle inside. The magnetic clamps grabbed the shuttle, holding it tight. The engines shut down, and the silence returned. Pressure equalizing, Ryan said. He stood up and grabbed his helmet. Let's go. They walked to the back of the shuttle and waited for the airlock door to open. When it did, they were hit by a wave of cold air. It smelled like old dust and ozone. It was the smell of a place that had been empty for a very long time. Ryan stepped out first, his rifle raised. He swept the area with his light. The room was a massive hangar bay. It was empty. No ships were docked here. "Clear," he said into his radio. Emily stepped out behind him. She did not carry a weapon. She carried her scanner. She walked over to the wall and placed her hand on the dark metal. It was cold, but she could feel a faint pulse, like a heartbeat deep under the surface. "Incredible," she whispered. "The craftsmanship is perfect. Smooth joins, no welds. This is advanced technology." They started walking towards the inner doors of the hangar. They were joined by 4 other human soldiers, their footsteps echoing loudly on the metal floor. The sound felt intrusive. It felt like they were waking up a sleeping giant. "Captain, we are inside," Ryan said into his comms unit. "It is quiet." "Too quiet." "Copy that, Commander," Captain James's voice came through the speaker. "Keep your eyes open." Vex is still shaking in his room, but he said the station is called the way station of the eclipse. "Be careful." They reached a large door that looked like it weighed 100 tons. There was no keypad, no handle, and no button to open it. "How do we open this?" one of the soldiers asked. Emily stepped forward. She looked at her scanner. "There is a wireless signal here. It is very faint. It is asking for a handshake." She pulled out a small device from her pocket. It was a hacking tool, but she had modified it herself. She typed a command. The device sent a signal to the door. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a low rumble shook the floor. The giant door began to slide open. It moved smoothly, without a squeak. "I think it liked us," Emily said with a small smile. Ryan shook his head. "Don't anthropomorphize the alien door, Doc. Let's move." They walked through the corridor. The walls were lined with dim lights. The layout was logical, similar to human designs, but much larger. Finally, they reached the central command center. It was a large room with a high ceiling. In the middle of the room was a large table, a holographic interface. Around the room, screens were flickering to life as they entered. As soon as the team entered the room, the lights became brighter. The holographic table turned on, projecting a star map in blue light. "Whoa," one of the soldiers whispered. Emily walked up to the table. She was mesmerized. The star map was detailed. It showed thousands of stars, but the sector where the Earth was located was marked with a special symbol. She reached out to touch the hologram. Suddenly, a voice filled the room. It was not a scary voice. It was a robotic, pleasant voice. It spoke in a language that sounded like music, but Emily's tablet translated it instantly. "System online," the voice said. "User identified. Welcome, architects." Emily froze. Did it say architects? Ryan looked around the room, his rifle ready. "Who is speaking?" "It is the station," Emily said. She looked at her tablet. The translation was flowing fast. "It thinks we are architects." "What is an architect?" Ryan asked. "I do not know," Emily said. She typed on her tablet. "Station, who are you?" The hologram changed. It showed an image of a tall, slender being with 4 arms and a large head. It looked imposing. "I am the keeper of the way station," the station's voice said. "I await the return of the creators to manage the shadow sector." "Why do the drones accompany you?" Emily looked at Ryan. Ryan looked at the soldiers. Drones, Ryan asked. Is it talking about the soldiers or is it talking about the aliens like Vex? I think it means everyone else, Emily said. She felt a chill go down her spine. Station, we are not the creators. We are humans. We come from Earth. The station was silent for a moment. The hologram flickered. Then, the blue light on the table turned a soft green. DNA scan complete, the station said. You are not the original creators. You are their descendants. Genetic markers confirm relation. You possess the chaos gene. You are capable of adaptation. You are capable of independent thought. Chaos gene, Ryan asked, lowering his rifle slightly. Is that an insult? No, Emily said, her eyes shining. She was understanding now. It is a compliment. To a machine, logic is perfect. But creativity looks like chaos. Humans are creative. We adapt. We change. The aliens we know, like the Council, they follow rules. They follow the path. They are predictable. But humans. We make our own path, Ryan finished. Correct, the station said. The Galactic Council races are drones. They were created to serve, to maintain, and to obey. They lack the spark. They cannot create. They cannot innovate. That is why they cannot use the station. Emily could hardly believe it. The advanced races of the galaxy, the ones who looked down on humans, were genetically engineered to be boring. They were workers. And humans, the young child race, were the ones who held the genetic key to the lost technology. Station, Emily said, her voice shaking with excitement. What is the function of this station? This is the control center for the shadow sector, the station explained. This sector was sealed to protect the evolution of the architect bloodline. Earth was the garden. The void was the wall. Now that the garden has grown, the wall can come down. Ryan looked at the map. It showed the red line, the boundary of the void. On the map, the void was not empty. It was full of resources, planets, and other stations. The Council had been hiding a treasure trove from the humans. They lied to us, Ryan said angrily. All those years, Vex saying we are too young, too stupid. They just wanted to keep us out. They feared us, Emily said. They feared what we would become if we found this. Suddenly, the lights in the room flashed red. The station's voice changed tone. It became urgent. Warning, the station said. Unauthorized signature detected. Drones are attempting to hack the external sensors. A council fleet is decloaking nearby. Ryan grabbed his radio. Captain. We have trouble. The station says there is a fleet out there. They were hiding. We see them, Commander, Captain James said over the radio. His voice was tense. Ships are decloaking all around us. They are Council ships. They have weapons locked on us. Get us out of here, Ryan. Emily said. We need to get back to the ship. Not yet, Ryan said. He looked at the hologram. Station, can you fight? My systems are at 20% power, the station said. I need a command authorization. I need a creative mind to link with the mainframe to override the safety protocols. Drones cannot do it. Emily looked at the central console. She knew what to do. She ran to the main computer terminal. It was a complex interface of lights and crystals. I can do it, she said. I can link with it. It is dangerous, Ryan warned. We don't have a choice, Emily said. She placed her hands on the interface. Connect me. A surge of energy flowed through Emily. She gasped. Her mind was suddenly filled with data. She could feel the station. It was like waking up a part of her brain she didn't know she had. She saw the shields, the weapons, the power grid. She saw the council ships lurking in the dark like sharks. I am in, Emily said, her voice sounding different. It sounded strong. Ryan, we have to go. Now. Ryan grabbed her arm, pulling her back from the console as the transfer finished. Let's move, team. Double time. They ran out of the command center, back towards the hangar bay. The station was coming alive around them. Lights flashed red, and the ground shook as ancient weapons began to move. Captain, Ryan shouted as they ran into the shuttle. The station is waking up. And Doc says she can use it. The shuttle blasted off the hangar deck, speeding back towards the horizon. Behind them, the dark station lit up with bright lights. The shadow was ending. The humans had found the light switch, and they were about to turn the whole galaxy on. The shuttle ride back to the horizon was fast and rough. Ryan landed the craft in the shuttle bay with a loud thud. Before the ramp was even fully open, Dr. Emily was running, clutching her tablet to her chest. Her mind was full of voices and data from the station. The link she had made with the machine was still fading, but the information remained. Commander Ryan ran after her, shouting orders to his squad to secure the area. They did not stop to rest. They went straight to the bridge. When the doors slid open, the room was tense. The red lights of the battle alert were flashing. Captain James stood in the middle, looking at the main screen where the Council fleet was visible. Report, James said as Emily and Ryan ran in. Captain, we know what this place is, Emily said, breathless. She ran to the main science station and plugged her tablet in. The station is not just a base. It is a library and a weapon. And it knows us. The alien Vex said this was a tomb, James said, watching the screen. He lied, Emily said. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Or maybe he just didn't know the truth. The station SAI told me everything. The void is not a natural danger. It is a shield. Ryan walked up to the railing, looking angry. The Council didn't hide the sector because it is dangerous, Captain. They hid it because they are afraid of what is inside. They are afraid of us. Captain James turned to look at Ryan. Explain. Emily pulled up a star chart on the main screen. It was different from the charts the humans used. It was much older. It showed the galaxy thousands of years ago. The station told me the history of this sector. There was a war a long time ago. A huge war between the precursors, the ones who built this station, and an ancient empire. The empire that became the Galactic Council, James asked. Yes, Emily said. The Council races were on the losing side. They were genetically engineered to be workers, not thinkers. They were drones. The precursors won, but they did not destroy the drones. Instead, they locked them out of the best part of the galaxy. They created a barrier. They called it the quarantine of the shadow. She pointed to a small dot on the map, a dot that was Earth. They left one planet inside the quarantine as a test. Earth. They wanted to see what would happen if they left a group of biological beings alone. They wanted to see if we would evolve. Ryan stepped forward. And we did. We evolved fast. The station called us architects because we have the genetic ability to create, to change, and to solve problems. The aliens like Vex don't have that. They can only follow instructions. They are stuck in the past. James looked at the screen. He thought about Vex. Vex was always worried about rules and protocols. Vex never improvised. It made sense now. So, the Council didn't put up the void to protect us, James said slowly. They put it up to protect themselves from us. Exactly, Emily said. They call this sector the cradle of monsters. They know that if humans ever get out of the solar system and find our old technology, we will surpass them in days. They have been keeping us small. They have been keeping us weak. Suddenly, the ship shook. A loud bang echoed through the hull. Report. James yelled. They are firing warning shots across our bow, Lieutenant David shouted from the comm station. The Council fleet is hailing us. They are demanding our surrender. James frowned. Surrender? We haven't fired a shot yet. They don't want a fight, Captain, Ryan said. They want to erase us. If we tell the galaxy what is in here, if the other races know that humans are the true heirs to the precursors, the Council loses all its power. They are the advanced races because they suppressed everyone else. On screen, James ordered. The face of a Council commander appeared on the view screen. He was an alien with a face like a lizard, wearing a heavy uniform. He looked arrogant. Human vessel, the commander said. You have violated the quarantine zone. You have trespassed on forbidden ground. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. We will seize your ship and erase your data. Captain James did not blink. He looked at the alien with cold eyes. I am Captain James of the Horizon. We are not trespassing. We are home. This sector belongs to humanity. You have been squatting on our doorstep for 1,000 years. The commander hissed. Blasphemy. You are primitives. You are dirt. You do not belong in the stars. Surrender now, or we will destroy you. You can try, James said. But I think you will find we are harder to kill than you think. James cut the transmission. He looked at his crew. We are not surrendering, he said. Emily, can the station help us? Emily looked at her screen. The connection to the station was strong. Yes, Captain, the station is linked to my console. It is waking up. But it needs a command. It needs a human to give the order because the safety protocols are designed to ignore drones. Ryan, James said. Get to the engineering bay. I want you to manually link our engines to the station's power grid. If we can boost our shields, we can survive their attack. Ryan nodded and ran out of the bridge. David, James said. Open a channel to the fleet. But do not let them speak. I just want to be able to broadcast. Captain, David said. James turned to Emily. What is the truth, Doc? The whole truth? Emily looked at the captain. Her eyes were bright. The truth is, Captain, that the galaxy is a playground. The races out there, the ones Vex works for, they are just the children who were left behind. We are the adults. We have been sleeping in the crib, but now we are awake. The shadow isn't empty. It is full of technology that is waiting for us. Ships, weapons, terraforming machines. Everything we need to build a new empire. James looked back at the screen. The Council ships were moving into attack formation. They looked scary, but now James knew they were just shells. They did not have the spark. They did not have the human spirit. So they feared us, James said. They feared our potential. Yes, Emily said. And they were right to fear us. Suddenly, a loud alarm sounded. Shields holding, David announced. But they are locking weapons on us. They are preparing to fire with full power. Let them come, James said. He hit the ship-wide intercom button. All hands, this is the captain. We are about to fight a battle that was started 1,000 years before we were born. The aliens think we are weak because we are young. They think we are stupid because we ask questions. But today, we show them the truth. We are not primitives. We are the inheritors of the stars. Stand by to repel borders. Stand by to fight. James looked at the red line on the tactical map. The line was gone now. The station had deleted it from the system. The chart ended in shadow no more. The shadow was lifting. Emily, James said. Ask the station for a favor. Tell it to extend its shields around the horizon. Emily typed the command. Done, Captain. Outside the ship, in the dark void, the massive station changed. Dark sections of its hull lit up with bright blue light. A shimmering field of energy projected out from the station, wrapping itself around the human ship. The horizon was now inside a protective bubble generated by the ancient station. They are firing. David yelled. Green laser blasts shot from the council ships. They hit the blue shield. The shield flared but did not break. The energy from the blasts was absorbed. They are wasting their ammo, James said, a small smile on his face. Ryan, how are the engines coming? Almost there, Captain. Ryan's voice crackled over the comms. I am bypassing the safety locks. We are going to have more power than we know what to do with. Good, James said. Because it is time to teach these aliens a lesson. You don't draw a line around a species that refuses to stay behind it. The truth was out. The humans were not the lost children of the galaxy. They were the sleeping giants. And the giant had just woken up. James gripped the railing. The battle for the shadow sector had begun, and the humans were not fighting to survive. They were fighting to take back what was theirs. The blue shield around the horizon glowed brightly as the green lasers from the council fleet slammed into it. The ship shook, but it was not the violent shaking of a ship taking damage. It was the heavy thud of rain hitting a metal roof. The ancient station was protecting them. Captain James stood firm on the bridge, watching the tactical display. The council ships were arranged in a perfect sphere, a standard textbook formation. It was logical, predictable, and incredibly boring. They are still firing, Captain, Lieutenant David said. His fingers were dancing across his console. They don't understand why the shield isn't breaking. They are firing math problems at a wall of chaos, James said. They won't break it? Suddenly, the voice of Xeno-Archivist Vex came over the ship's intercom system. It was loud and panicked. Vex had locked himself in his quarters, but he had hacked the comm channel to scream at the crew. You fools! You have doomed us all! Vex cried. The council will not stop. They will eradicate you. You have broken the oldest law of the galaxy. The void is sacred. Bridge, this is security, a voice interrupted. We are trying to cut his mic, but he is using some alien tech to bypass us. Let him talk, James said calmly. I want him to hear what happens next. On the main screen, the council fleet changed its formation. The ship stopped firing for a moment. A new message came through. This time, it was not the lizard commander. It was a mechanical voice, a translation of the council's official protocol. Surrender immediately, the voice said. Your resistance is illogical. Your shields are borrowed. They will fail. You are violating the stability of the sector. Power down your systems and prepare for deletion. They really do not get it, Commander Ryan said as he stepped back onto the bridge. He was covered in grease and sweat from the engineering bay. Captain, the link is ready. Our engines are now hooked directly into the station's power core. We have so much power right now, I don't even know how to measure it. Can we fight? James asked. We can do more than fight, Ryan said with a grin. We can brawl. Mr. David, James said. Target the lead ship, the big one in the center. But don't use the main guns. Use the station's drone control. Emily, are you there? Dr. Emily was still at the science station, her eyes closed, her hand on the interface tablet. She was mentally linked to the station. I am here, Captain. The drones are awake. They are asking for orders. Tell them to attack, James said. Disrupt their formation. Outside the ship, the dark surface of the massive station suddenly cracked open. Hundreds of small bays opened their doors. From these bays, sleek silver drones flew out. They moved fast, much faster than the Council ships. The drones did not fly in straight lines. They moved like bees, jittery and unpredictable. The Council fleet tried to lock onto the drones, but their targeting computers could not predict the movement. The drones swarmed the Council ships. They did not use big guns to destroy the ships. Instead, they used electronic jamming devices and small EMP blasts. They landed on the hulls of the enemy ships and short-circuited their sensors. They are blind. David shouted. The drones are confusing their sensors. The Council ships can't see each other. Excellent, James said. Ryan, punch it. Take us into the center of their formation. Ryan ran to the helmsman's station and shoved the pilot aside. Hold on. Ryan yelled. He pushed the throttle forward. The horizon leaped forward. It did not fly smoothly like a human ship usually did. With the station's power, the ship moved instantly. It zipped past the front line of Council ships before they could even turn their guns. The ship stopped right in the middle of the enemy sphere. The horizon was now face to face with the Lizard Commander's flagship. Hail them, James said. They are answering, David said. The face of the Lizard Commander appeared on the screen again. He looked confused. His bridge was flashing red lights, and his crew was running around in panic. How are you doing this? The commander hissed. Your ship is primitive. You move like a madness. We move like humans, James said. You fight with algorithms. We fight with instinct. You tried to hide us in the dark, but we thrive in it. You called this the void of death. We call it home. You are a plague. The commander shouted. Drones. Attack. Destroy them. The Council ships fired wildly. They hit each other more than they hit the human ship. Their computers were so confused by the drones that they were firing at ghosts. A massive explosion lit up the void as one Council cruiser crashed into another. They are destroying themselves, Ryan said, laughing. Look at them. They cannot handle a situation that isn't in the manual. David, James said. Can we broadcast to the whole fleet? Can we override their channel? Yes, Captain, David said. The station gave me the codes. I can force our voice into every speaker on every ship. Do it, James said. And turn on the video feed of the station. Let them see what they are fighting. James took a deep breath. He stood tall. He looked into the camera. This message was not for the council commanders. It was for the low-level crew, the workers, the ones who had been told humans were monsters. People of the council, James said, his voice booming across the space. My name is Captain James of the Earthship the Horizon. For thousands of years, you have been told a lie. You were told that the void is death. You were told that humans are weak and dangerous. You were told to stay away. On the screen behind James, the image of the station appeared. It was no longer dark and scary. It was glowing with blue light. It was magnificent. This station was built by our ancestors, James said. It was built by the architects. You are the drones. You were built to serve, but your masters kept you in the dark. They hid the truth from you so you would obey. We are here to take back what is ours. We are here to turn on the lights. All across the council fleet, crews stopped fighting. They looked at their screens. They saw the human face. They saw the glowing station. They saw their own commanders failing against a handful of primitive ships. The lie was breaking. We do not want to kill you, James continued. We are not the monsters your leaders described. We are explorers. But we will not be hidden anymore. The chart ends in shadow no more. If you want to fight, you will lose. If you want to run, go. But the galaxy is changing. Captain. Emily shouted. Vex is sending a signal. He is trying to trigger the station's self-destruct. James's eyes narrowed. Vex, I thought he was just scared. He is a fanatic. Emily said. He accessed the auxiliary control from his room. He is trying to blow up the station and us with it. Ryan, get Vex, James ordered. Security team, go to his quarters. Stop him. Already on it, Ryan said, grabbing his rifle and running out of the bridge. On the screen, the Lizard commander saw an opportunity. The station is compromised. The commander shouted. Fire the main weapon. Destroy the station core. The council flagship charged a massive cannon. It pointed directly at the horizon and the station. The cannon glowed bright orange. There was no time to move. The shield was holding, but a direct hit from a main cannon might be too much. Emily. James yelled. I am trying to stop it. Emily shouted. But he is overriding the safety protocols. I can't shut it down from here. The bridge was silent for a second. The blast was coming. But James did not panic. He looked at the drone control screen. He had an idea. It was a crazy idea. It was a human idea. David, James said. The drones. Can they block the shot? Block a plasma cannon? They are too small. Not if there are enough of them, James said. Emily, order all drones to the front of the cannon. Tell them to merge shields. Form a wall. Emily typed the command. Outside, the swarm of silver drones stopped attacking the ships. They flew in a tight group, moving straight at the glowing cannon mouth. There were hundreds of them. They flew so close together that their energy shields touched. They formed a solid wall of light. The council flagship fired. A massive beam of orange energy shot out. It hit the wall of drones. The energy beam splashed against the drone shield. The drones held. The wall shimmered and sparked, but it did not break. The beam was deflected off into space. The Lizard commander's jaw dropped. Impossible, he whispered. Nothing is impossible, James said to the screen. You just have to want it bad enough. At that moment, Ryan's voice came over the comms. We have him, Captain. Vex is down. We cut his hard line. Good work, James said. The Council fleet was in chaos. The commander's shot had failed. The morale of the crews was broken. They saw the power of the drones, the power of the station, and the fearlessness of the humans. They did not want to die for a lie. Retreat. The lizard commander finally screamed. All ships, retreat. Withdraw. The council ships turned and ran. They fled back into the dark space they came from, leaving their perfect formation behind. The bridge of the horizon erupted in cheers. Crew members hugged each other. David high-fived the officer next to him. James smiled. He looked at the main screen. The enemy was running. The shadow was gone. Punch it, Ryan, James said into the comms. Let's get home. The silence that followed the battle was not the heavy silence of fear, but the peaceful silence of a job well done. On the bridge of the horizon, the crew sat back in their chairs, watching the main screen. The council ships were gone. They had turned and fled into the deep dark, leaving the human ship alone with the ancient station. The red alert lights were off, replaced by the soft white glow of the standard lighting. Captain James stood by the large window, looking out at the stars. He felt tired, but it was a good tired. It was the feeling a man gets after climbing a tall mountain. His muscles ached, but the view was worth it. Report, James said quietly. Lieutenant David checked his console. He looked happier than James had ever seen him. The fleet is retreating, Captain. They are moving fast. I don't think they will stop until they reach their home worlds. They are scared. They should be scared, Commander Ryan said, walking onto the bridge. He had cleaned most of the grease off his face, but he still looked like he had been through a storm. They brought a whole fleet to fight one ship. They lost. We didn't do it alone, James said. He turned to Dr. Emily. She was still at the science station, staring at her tablet. How is our guest? Vex is secure, Ryan answered for her. He is in the brig. He is sitting in the corner, refusing to speak. He is shocked. His whole life, he believed the Council was the greatest power in the universe. Seeing humans run the show broke him. Pity, James said. But he tried to destroy us. He will stay there until we decide what to do with him. Emily looked up from her screen. Captain, the station is communicating with me again. Now that the fighting is over, it is finishing the upload we started earlier. What upload is that? James asked. The star charts, Emily said. She tapped a button on her console. The main screen changed from the view of space to a large, detailed map. It was beautiful. It showed the sector they were in, but it was not black anymore. It was filled with colors. Green dots for habitable planets. Blue lines for trade routes. Gold symbols for ancient mines. This is the shadow sector, James asked, walking closer to the screen. It was, Emily said. But the station is changing the name in the database. It is labeling this territory human space. It says it holds this area in trust for the architects. The crew looked at the map in awe. It was huge. There were thousands of stars here. More resources than Earth could use in 1,000 years. The Galactic Council had kept all of this for themselves, or maybe they were just too scared to come here. Either way, it belonged to humans now. How many planets are there? Ryan asked, looking at the green dots. Thousands, Emily said. And many of them are perfect for human life. No terraforming needed. The precursors prepared them for us. It's a treasure map, David said softly. We are rich, Captain. Not just money, but knowledge. The station has blueprints for engines, for medicine, for farming. Everything we need to build a new civilization. James nodded slowly. He thought about the people back on Earth. They were worried about food, about energy, about space. They didn't know that their future was waiting for them just past the red line. The Council had tried to keep humans small to make them easy to control. But the Council forgot one thing: humans do not like being told what to do. Mr. David, James said. Package this data. Send it to Earth Command. Use the burst transmitter. Tell them we found the frontier. Already done, Captain, David smiled. And the station, James asked. What happens to it? It is staying, Emily said. But it is ours now. The AI accepted my authority. It is parking itself in a stable orbit around a nearby gas giant. It says it will serve as our capital. James looked at his crew. They were young. They were inexperienced compared to the aliens of the galaxy. But they had something the aliens did not have. They had the ability to dream. They had the ability to look at a void of death and see a home. We have a lot of work to do, James said, fixing his uniform. We need to send more ships. We need to bring people here. We need to build. Are we going to war with the Council? Ryan asked. They will be back. They won't like this. Maybe they will, James said. But if they come back, they will find a different galaxy. They will find that the children have grown up. We don't want war, Ryan. We just want our place in the stars. If they want to fight for it, well, we know who wins now. James walked to the center of the bridge. He looked at the empty seats where Vex used to stand and lecture them about rules and danger. Vex was wrong about so many things. He was wrong about the danger. He was wrong about the humans. He was wrong about the shadow. Set a course for the nearest habitable planet, James ordered. Mr. Ryan, ready the scanners. I want to see our new home. Aye, Captain, Ryan said. The helmsman's hands moved over the controls. The horizon turned away from the station and pointed towards a bright blue star on the map. The ship moved forward, smooth and fast. Behind them, the ancient station watched, its lights blinking in a pattern that looked like a heartbeat. The shadow that had covered this part of space for thousands of years was gone. The darkness had been pushed back. Captain, Emily said, standing next to him. Do you think the galaxy will ever be the same? No, James said. He watched the stars streak by on the screen. It will never be the same. The galaxy thought it could ignore us. It thought it could draw a line and say, humans go no further. But lines are just ink on paper. Humans are made of blood and bone and spirit. He smiled. We are the horizon. And our job is to see what is next. The ship flew deeper into the sector that was once a mystery. The charts were blank no more. The human race had stepped out of the cradle, and they were not looking back. The story of the galaxy was being written, and for the first time, humans were holding the pen. The shadow ended, and the future began.